I'm not going to do a long intro today. All I'm going to say is that I am very, very, very happy that we are back and that you are back. Yes, my name is Lesego April Khoza, and this is What Is Your Story? And my guest today, you're going to love her, Lesego April Khoza. Lesego, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, today, I made sure that I'm not going to make a mistake that I did the last time by calling you Lesego Chabidi, and you were like, hey, get Lesego Khoza.
Unnamed.
Yeah.
You gotta get it right.
Yeah.
You have to get it right.
So let me start off by saying congratulations
Thank you.
for
thank
everything, especially for becoming Mrs. Khoza, you know.
Thank you.
Start off by talking about your marriage life, the decision that led to the marriage, and everything just about your marriage.
Okay. That's a lot of great, like I could tell you the whole day about it. I think I haven't even done a YouTube video for it because I can go on the whole day about it. But yeah, basically I just got married recently, so I'd say 7 months into marriage, 7 months old into marriage. I married my best friend. We married around March in COVID times. And I wanted to get married in COVID times.
And then we didn't get an invitation. Yeah, carry on.
Sorry, I have to apologize to everyone, guys. I'm so sorry for the invitations. I think, you know what happened? So because we had lockdown, like shipping and addresses and all those things just was like a complication, and we decided, listen, since it's going to be a mission to invite everyone, rather than we have a small, intimate one.
I saw the pictures, they were beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Before we go further and talk about your career, I'd like to know, what is it? Could you feel the difference between being a girlfriend to your then boyfriend and being a wife? What is the difference?
Okay, so for me and my husband, because we've lived together for such a long time, so this was the marriage part of it, the ceremony and whatever, felt like a formality, but I don't think it changed anything. But what I can say it did is bring more love. Like, do you know when you, I guess for both of us, when you know that your person won't leave you, no matter what. Now you signed a contract, you said, you even told them in front of people that I'm here to marry you forever. You know what I mean? So that, I guess, gives you a certain sense of certainty and assurance that this person is going to be your teammate, your partner for the rest of your life. And that for me was amazing. So that's the difference for me. So so from being a girlfriend, when I came into Mina, my relationship, and when I met my in-laws, I choose not to call them in-laws, I choose to call them in-laws.
Beautiful.
I've just always been their daughter. So I came into that family and, you know, did everything. I guess I didn't come in and say, just because I was not married yet, there are certain things so I didn't have like barriers or things that felt like they were stopping me from being myself. I got there and I was myself from day one, and the space allowed me to. So we were already living a husband and sort of wife life just before we made it formal and told Home Affairs what we actually doing.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised because I feel like marriage, especially right now, it's very rare to see people appreciating each other the way you and your husband appreciate each other. You know, I think we live at a time where we have normalized things that are toxic, and that when we see a good thing, it doesn't feel normal. We're like, what are we doing?
What is happening?
Yeah, especially since you guys are great artists, and I would imagine that he has his fan base, you have his fan base. So it's like a usual person, or as an artist, you'd be like, oh my God, I have so many opportunities. I can hook up with so and so. I can hook up with so and so. You know, considering the space that I'm in. You know, so was it difficult for you to actually make that decision that, you know what, I want to be committed to this one person forever for the rest of my life?
No. I'm one of those girls, firstly, before this I'm just one of those girls who, like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm just in that relationship. And my husband as well, you know, seeing from where he comes from, like, if he's just he's in a relationship. So we also come from that, both of us. So when I believe in monogamy with everything that I am. As soon as I said I'm dating my boyfriend, whether we were having difficult times, whether we were whatever we were going through was never an opportunity to bring in external factors. So for me and my husband, we have always believed in monogamy through everything, through decision making, through everything, through rumors when they talk about him or to me. I need to come to him first and understand this and believe this before I go and believe anything else. You know what I mean? It's a sort of a silent kind of thing me and him kind of had, that this is the team, it's about this team. And if we start having other people infiltrate this team, that's when this team becomes blurry and confused. And yeah, so we've always, we highly believe in monogamy. So for me, it was easy.
Makes sense. So, Lesego, being the amazing artist that you are, I would imagine that when you took this decision, you were by yourself, I want to become an artist, you know. But I always feel like as artists, we need that support structure in order for us to reach where we want to be, because I feel like it can be like a very, very lonely journey, you know. So I've been to shows where I've seen not only your husband, but I've seen your parents as well, you know. How important is that in the life of an artist?
I think it's very important. It's very important. When I started my acting career, I went to go study at Monith Art House in Pretoria, and you know, my mom didn't question me. So at my house, it wasn't a case of, you want to be an artist? So what are you gonna eat? What? No, my mom was just like, what do you wanna be? Great. Okay, let's go. You know, I had full support. And then I got to study in Pretoria, and my first show was like open class. So same as the Market Theatre has, we had an open class at that house, at that place. And now that school, it was a very big school because it had dance, had music, and it has drama. So people were majoring in all those departments, and there were about 50 students per department. So you can understand parents and families and whatnot were there. So they had to hire out a big venue for the purpose of the show, the showcase. And I remember then I was staying with my best friend who was majoring in music, and we had come from Joburg together and were staying there together, and we had a full support of our parents. And when we had the show, that time my mom came out to watch me. And on her side, it was her mom, her dad, her aunt, her brother, her cousin, you know, like more than 5 people in a car to come see her. And I had my mom there. And for me, it was so important because my mom had always been with me on my journey. So I didn't come from a structure like that, you know, but this one person. So for me, it wasn't like 5 people came for her and 1 person came for me. For me, it was like the right person came, the person who's always with me, the person who understands what I'm doing, the person who supports me, the person who loves me unconditionally and, you know, without any judgment is here. I don't need any other. And these people were also for me because like they were my family still, because they were my best friend's family. So I know them quite well as well. So that, my mom just being there, see, I don't need 5 people like how my best friend had. I needed 1 person, and that 1 person was 5 people to me. And from that day, my mother has never, ever missed my show. So when you see people come see my show, you usually would see my mom and my husband, or you would see my mom, my husband, and my little sister, or you see my mom, my husband, and his family, which is my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, who are also so supportive. Even my sister-in-law and her kids are also very supportive of my theater shows, so they come all the time.
Your in-laws.
My in-laws.
All right, I think you've answered some of the things that I wanted to ask you, but I want to know about the genesis of Lesego the artist. When did you have that the inception of the idea that, you know what, I want to become an artist, you know?
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to be gravitating towards, you know, what was happening. And also, I want you to tell me about some of the highlights in your career.
Okay. Okay. So we'll start with where the genesis, where it all began. Timoloko. So I was in primary, and I was the most unpopular kid at that school, the most bullied kid at that school. But I remember the only thing I wanted to do at that school, and that's primary, is sing. And there was a Cinderella show that I wanted to be in that I couldn't be because I was quite new at that school. And of course, your dialect in an English medium of instruction school is not that great. So you can't express yourself how you express yourself at home. So it was kind of hard to join the plays and do all those things. So fortunately, this one time, this one teacher asked me to just sing. I asked also to sing, and then I sang, and it was my first time in front of the audience, so it was such a beautiful thing. And I don't know how I did it, because I was so unpopular. Do you understand? Like, I was always trying to hide myself. But when the opportunity to sing came, I wanted to sing, even if it was just for that one time. You know, and then I sang, and because like I also during the holidays when we visit Koko with our cousins, we used to go to church all the time and sing at church. So I used to like singing at church, so it made sense to go sing at school. Fast forward high school, when we got to high school, there was no drama in high school. I remember my friends used to sing in the choir. I went to a school in Jablani called Pace Commercial Secondary School. And my friends were in the choir and they used to sing. So I used to go sing with them because athletics were not my thing. So I used to do high jump because I was so thin and we are pepunga. I feel like you just go with the air when you are young. But now it was a bit hard. It was a bit tricky when you get older and you eat meat and all those things. So then because I couldn't do athletics, I joined the choir. And then there was a teacher who joined the school, Mr. Mbata, who was a great influence in my genesis, because when Mr. Mbata came, he brought some other guy who came in and said, we're starting a drama club. I left a choir like nobody's business, and I went to drama. And I remember that day, that guy came in and was like, yeah, so we're auditioning, first try, improv. If you can't do this, you're not an actor. Already your little self believes that they're an actor. You don't want anyone to tell you you're not.
Yeah.
So I remember I did a colored accent. Why? Because I've always been assumed to be colored, and I went to a colored school. So it was just easy for me to sell that. So I improved. I remember I was the last person to go, and the whole school was now there because everyone had heard that these kids are acting, what. So I pulled a performance that day, and everyone was just like, what? Yay! I also didn't know I had it in me,
Yeah.
So everyone was just like, wow, you're fantastic at this. I was like, yeah, I get it now, I'm big-headed because I'm like, I knew to come to drama. I knew that I can do this. Even those ones that went before me, they had nothing on me, So I was very proud of myself at that time. And then from ever since that day, Mr. Mbata has been a person that was writing books, and he was an artist himself before he was a teacher. You know how we just go to corporate because it's bedding this side. So I feel like his story was that as well. So I held on to him, and he was my mentor for life. And because I think I've sort of fueled him as well, my love for it also fueled him and reminded him of the love of it, and he started bringing people from outside. There was Umtagati Productions. It's I don't know if people know it. They brought Charlie Mengasi, and they brought them to school. And there was a show that they did there at our school. It was the first theater piece. It wasn't the first theater piece I saw, but the second one, because the first theater piece I ever saw was The Lion King, when the theatre was opening at Monte Casino, and it had Dadesolo Makek Angube, and it had Osi Tsulu Machaba, and she was starting out at that time. And I got to watch the documentary of the making. before I went to go see it when the theatre was opening. So that was my first experience of theatre. And then my second experience when it was brought then to school. And I was like, I literally was the only student who at the end when it was finished, and I went backstage because I was part of the drama group, I was allowed to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I went backstage and I spoke to the guys. I spoke to Abuti Tapelo, and the first thing he called me is like, "Hey, wena, o sarafina nyana." That made my day. That also was a comment that fueled me. I was like, yes. You know what? Every girl wants to be Sarafina when they act. You know what I mean? So I was like, yes. And then I remember Mr. Mbata used to have like these shows that he used to do with other actors, and he used to invite me on Saturdays, and I would stop whatever I'm doing, and the art has always, I just wanted to be part of the art. I just always wanted to be part of the art. And then I said I'm going to study at TUT. I went to go apply. Things went wrong with TUT. I was late for my audition. I never got admitted to TUT. And then sort of that was how I almost gave up on my dream. And because my friend was going to, my best friend at that time was going to study music as well. She also had an audition at TUT and she also didn't make it. And in her not making it, they went to the State Theatre. Somehow she found friends that took her to the State Theatre and found a whole caliber of schools. And then she got to audition for that school. She came back, she came with all the information and said, this is how much the school is, this is what, I told my mom about it. My mom said, okay, go audition. I booked an audition for the school. It was called Monit Art House. I went to go audition. Sadly, because I was unprepared and I had all this love and my audition didn't go that great. My audition didn't go well. And then I sort of said something to them because my mom had prepared, to pay for school fees or whatever. I told them, if I bring school fees on Monday, I want to learn. And you guys are saying I'm not it, but I want to be it by learning, right? It's a learning situation. Can I just, I spoke for myself. And I think for me speaking for myself like that, that lady was just like, and then she was like, give me a second. And then she went. I think she went to go plead my case, and then came back, and I was in the school. And after that situation, me and my friend had to go out and go look for accommodation because now we have to move from Joburg to Pretoria, which then brings me to your second question, which was the things that I've accomplished in the arts.
Yeah, sort of like. Not necessarily accomplishments, but like the highlights.
The highlights, yes.
Like, okay, maybe this is the first theater production.
Yes.
Those type of things, you know.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So coming to my highlights. So when I was at Monit Art House, I consistently, all the time needed to prove myself because remember when I came in, I wasn't the actor. So already the person that was auditioning me was the person that was going to teach me. So I needed to prove to him that I am it. Mm-hmm. So me every day coming into class is to prove that I am it. Mm-hmm. Every day, consistently. To the point where I stumbled upon a lead role that he was doing in one of his productions that we showcased. Remember I was talking about the showcase that our parents came to, and everybody loved that character. Everybody was just like, so I was playing a little girl who was 7 years old, 7 years old. And afterwards, everyone was just like, so come to the cast. So you guys did well. So where's that little girl? And everybody kept on saying, this girl. There's no little actual girl, but there's this lady who plays the little girl. And from that day, that was the highlight for me because I was playing a character that people didn't believe was me. On stage, I was another person. Outside of stage, I was another person. So that was a highlight for me. 3 months forward in playing that character, we went to the first festival. I don't think it still happened. It was called Stop Crime Festival then. Stop Crime Festival. When I got to Stop Crime Festival, I didn't think I was... So there were awards at the end of each festival when you go. So you showcase and then there'll be awards at the end of the ceremony. So I went. I remember I even missed my best friend's best friend's dad's funeral because I had to go to the festival. So I wasn't okay emotionally, and I had to portray this character that is also not okay emotionally. But I didn't have time to think of the awards because I just thought I have to do my work. At that time, what was in my head was the art. Because I knew my whoever's teaching me doesn't believe that I can do this. The people who are around me at that time, I felt like did not believe I could do this. So I was really just on my own to just push myself, and I just knew that I knew I wanted to do this, and I knew that I'm somehow good at it, and I just wanted to do that. And that's when I went to at the end of the Stop Crime Festival that weekend, I won Best Actor. My first ever award in 2011, 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then from there, the same show. It's crazy, right? It started, that's when my career then the foundation was like stamped.
Yeah.
It was not going to move. Because now I'm doing these shows, I'm coming to the Market Theatre, I'm going to all these theatres, I'm going all around the country. I was in Limpopo the last time, I was in Mpumalanga, so I'm doing, and everybody is liking this character, but the working environment is still telling me that I'm not good enough. But outside, I'm told that I am good. So it was such a frustrating era of my life at that time, because like I was good, but I was not good. But I was getting all these accolades, but I was not good still. We came here at the Market Theatre, we won the Zwagala Festival with that show that year, and then I got very good reviews, because the Zwagala doesn't necessarily have best what award ceremony situation, but critiques that came to see my show were like, Lesego Chabedi is the highlight of the show. You know, someone was like, I don't get the whole show, but I know that this person is the extremities of the extreme. I remember Abuti Siputla came to me after my performance in Limpopo, and he said, "You're going very far."
Yeah.
I was like, me? How? You know, so those are the highlights. Those are the things that made me start and never stop, because after that, it got mad weird, mad crazy, mad dry, desert.
How so?
So after I won those awards, whatever, right, I then came here to the Market Lab to come study here at the Market Lab, right? So I'm studying here at the Market Lab. I'm a student. There's no one who's... I won awards. I used to travel. I won awards. What. Now there's nothing like that. Now I don't have money at all. Like, I'm a struggling student. That's crazy, right? I'm a struggling student. I used to go to court with my dad, you know, for maintenance. There was so many things happening while I was a student here at the lab. And then I got a job as an usher. All right. After I got a job as an usher, that's when things were a little bit stable, because I can afford my transport. I can afford to come to school. I studied with people who didn't have money for school fees.
Yeah.
But they knew, and I studied with people whose parents disowned them, but they still wanted to study. So for me to see people who go, you know, I couldn't do the arts because my dad, I saw people come to school. I used to not know how I'm going to get to school. I used to have Imaliami, Yok Asha, and we would share e-kaftina. You know, in class, we'll share, whoever doesn't have money to kibela, we'll all share our kaftin. We had groups where we all share, and we had groups where somebody can say to whoever else that, hey, it's betting this side, okay. So this side, you know, we didn't necessarily say we shared as a group, but we had people that we, you know, who knew our struggles. So it was hard. And then finish school. Remember, I have accolades. I've been told I'm an actor. That's all I do. I didn't believe in doing stage managing, what. All these other things. I'm an actor. I'm good at it. I'm going to be just that, and I'm going to perfect just that. The industry, you shall wait while you perfect, sis. Be patient. Hlala phansi. Hlala phansi. Uthole uNkulunkulu. Not umthole, but bring him back to your life, you know. For me, I was raised in a Christian home. As I said before, when I said we used to sing at church, right? And then when you become an artist, you start becoming, I felt like I started having an opinion. I started seeing the world in a different way. And I started feeling like my opinion matters. Like, it does matter, but it doesn't necessarily matter in other people's lives. it does matter, but it doesn't necessarily matter in other people's lives. So almost being an atheist, because now you're learning about atheism and all these things. You're learning about all these cultures, because as an artist, you don't want to confine yourself, right?
Yeah.
You want to know everyone. You know what? You want to know everyone's culture.
open-minded.
Be open-minded, and that open-mindedness is a very tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing, because if it doesn't have boundaries, you get swayed, bro, and you don't want to get swayed. So my biggest blessing is that I've never lost prayer, but I lost my spiritual sort of yokement, the spiritual awakening, my understanding myself as a Christian in this world. So God said, take time and do that as well, because you need Jesus, girl. And I needed Jesus.
Yeah.
And but I never lost prayer, and I finally found myself in the light of God and in His love, and I finally surrendered my life to His purpose. So whether He wants me to be an actor, whether He doesn't want me to be an actor, I'm always called by Him and led by Him. So everything for me is led by God, and if it feels in my spirit that it's of God, listen, I'm there and I'm doing it.
I wanted to ask you something, because after everything that you've said, like, I have so many questions.
Of course.
But one thing that is like consistent in
Yeah.
what you're saying, I get the feeling that you are a very resilient spirit. You know, so I'd imagine that comes from prayer. And what else?
I'm a very resilient person. It's hectic. I also don't know how I'm this resilient in life, in everything that I do. I will hold on till I can't hold on.
Yeah.
I don't know how you sense that. It's crazy, but I am. It is prayer. It's the woman that raised me. The woman that raised me. They are warriors, king-like, god-like. They don't give up. You know when you're growing up, and how salimad o sharp. You know? So ubatla lamadi.
Yeah.
And for the thing you love. One thing about the woman that raised me, they will die for the thing that they love. So that's
amazing.
yeah, their strength has always been, I've always been in awe of their strength. My mom is the most sensitive but strongest person I know. It's crazy. I think it's an extreme personality, I think. She can be the most sensitive, weakest person in the room, but the most strongest.
About being open-minded and having to create boundaries around that, which is something I feel that I'm struggling with a lot, and with a lot of people are struggling with that, because you find yourself at a place where you are, it's like you don't even have an identity of your own. You just want to be literally open to everything, and we live in a place where, like, if you don't understand something, you can get cancelled today. You know, just for merely not understanding something. And funny enough, you get cancelled by people who themselves 10 years ago didn't understand what they understand today. You know, so I want you to, like, go further and tell me more about this open-mindedness and also creating boundaries. What is it exactly that you meant?
I strive for myself on that. If anyone knows me knows that I can give you this biggest smile, but I can change right now. Like, my biggest smile doesn't hold me from being honest and telling you that now you are doing foot. Now, this. I guess I don't know where it came from when Kabelo, to be honest. I just had a good balance in my life of, like, even I remember towards me getting married, one of my friends, I said, you know, I felt like, at that time I was like, man, I feel like I dilly-dally a lot. I don't have a strong kind of sense of who I am or whatever. Because sometimes when things confuse us in life, we think we are confused entirely. And it's just that situation. It's not the rest of your life. You know, you think, oh, just because I'm not in a relationship, angikwazi ukuba nama relationship nabantu, angikwazi. No, it's just that part of your life. I am told umsebenzi that mina ngibitha izinto zami zonke life ina. No, it's just that part of your life. You know, just understanding there are parts of your life that you don't have to make it your whole life. You know what I mean? So I distinguish when we are happy, and I still distinguish when we are not happy. My friend just recently told me that my EQ is crazy. I guess I just always had emotional intelligence to know when things are happy and when things are not happy, or when I don't want to start something that I can see will in future become something else. So it started at a young age. For me, it started at a weird thing, you know, like in the hood, being light-skinned, when you being a little girl and wearing skimpy things, small things, because you're so comfortable. You're a baby. You don't want more. You're so many things on you, so you dress less. So guys in the corners, when we used to pass as young kids, they would be like, "Kula slahla, so come up
Sure.
And I could see maybe girls that are older than me, their journey as well, because I get it, we all play together and you're still the little one, then you grow up to being mid, whatever, and then you see the ones that start being teenagers and they stop playing with you and they start, you know, looking nice and start walking past the corner more than playing, you know, and then you see what their journey is and you see how, hey, man, hey, bashimani nana batlodlala ka wena. So I saw from a young age that actually, Mina, I want to be perceived in a certain way here in the hood. So ever since that, I think it started from there. It went from school, it turned into everything that I do. That's why you say, I think earlier on, just to say when we were talking, not on camera, that you feel like I respect my husband and therefore everybody, you know, respects my husband. It's that thing that I'm exclusive just to my husband. If you come to the spaces that I'm in, no one can ever say they've crossed the line with me or they've gotten anywhere other than friendship or professionalism with me. You know, I make it clear as day that this is me, this is my husband, this is work, I separate all those roles so you understand as well, not to, because I don't even need to say it, it's just my demeanor. I felt like I didn't need to, there's things that I don't need to, I just need to carry myself that way. It's like, that's how I love as well. I don't show you how to love me. My husband loves me the way he loves me. And I love him the way I love him. The way I think, you know, even the way I see it, the way I experience him, it stemmed from me. I don't love him because he loves me. I love him because I love him. You know what I mean? I love myself because I love, so I think my strength comes from that it's and also do unto others what you want to be done unto you.
Amen.
And in everything, I respect everyone. Whether uhlangane nami la estradeni and I don't know where you come from or whatever, if you give me respect, I'm going to give you respect. I'm going to treat you the way you treat me. And I'm going to show you how to treat me.
Yeah. You said something as well. You spoke about, I'm not sure if I got it right.
Yeah.
So there's this thing of having to perform for other artists.
Yeah.
And also having to perform for the audience. Yeah. So you spoke about the time you were young.
Yeah.
And then you did this play.
Yeah.
And then people in the school who were judges and teachers, the time you were doing those auditions and whatnot, didn't feel you that much.
Yeah.
And then now you're performing for these people, which is a wider audience.
Yes.
And then now they're like, oh my God,
yes,
this is beautiful.
Yes.
You know? So there's this line that I'm trying to understand. You know? Sometimes you would have different people come into theater to watch a person.
Yeah.
You know? And then you would have people who are like professionals or people who are like fellow artists, heavily criticizing this person on the stage. Or, no, Lesego could have done this, Lesego could have done that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have this audience, you know, people who are gonna be like, this is beautiful. And they genuinely meant it,
Yeah.
you know. So I want us to talk about that, and also I want to know, Luyana, do you do that? You know, do you watch shows? Do you watch television production from the perspective of, I'm a director, I could have done this better. I'm an actor, this person could have done this. You know, does it take away from, you know, just enjoying and playing? This is beautiful, like I enjoy this, you know. So I wanted to have a conversation around that.
I'm so glad you asked that question because when I started at school, and because of the treatment I was getting within the production and the treatment I was getting outside of production, was that I learned very early that after my first 3 months of school, when I went home on the holidays, we didn't have a TV at our flat with my friend. When I went home to go watch TV, I didn't watch TV like myself. And I love TV. I love soapies, I love local TV, I love reality shows, you know, all these things that artists apparently don't watch, or whatever the case may be. I watch all of that, and I couldn't watch it. I'm critical. Continuity, what? It was so frustrating the first few years.
I've seen your YouTube channel. I love it. It's beautiful. I was watching one of the clips. You said something about, I think you also said something about boundaries as well. You know, the fact that you are like literally recording, vlogging around your life, but at the same time you're still private, you know. So, Lesego, in the near future, would you see yourself doing a reality TV? Yeah. Keeping up with the Khozas. I'm sorry, but yeah.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me tell you that because I know that because I watch reality TV, I know you can curate it in a way that it shows what you wanted to show.
Obviously, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say entirely no, but it wouldn't be your typical keeping up with the Kardashians, or I think if we were ever to do it, it would be mostly for our work, and it would be like a short docu thing, because I've been collecting so many things throughout our lives that I feel like one day if we ever do a docu kind of series, or I think it would be more a docu series than an actual reality show.
Would love to see that. You do both TV and theater. You know, usually I would ask people, what is it that you prefer more? But I'm not going to go there with you.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, what is it that you like the most about theater, and what is it that you like, something that you think that we should do away when it comes to theater, you know?
Sure.
And I think goes both ways for TV and theater. What is it that you like the most about TV, and then what is it that you think we can maybe improve?
What I like about theater is that I'm good at it. And not to brag or anything, is that like I've honed that craft, and I've had 10 years to like, you know, be good at it. I'm not saying I'm exceptional. I'm on my way to exceptional and legendary and all these other things. Because I remember when we had our first class, I remember Dr. John, my papa.
Yes.
My papa. He came to watch us, Papa John Kani, and he asked a few of my classmates, what do they want? Someone was like, teacher, mama. Oh, then he didn't ask anyone. And I was like, you know when you're waiting to be asked what? And my answer was going to be legendary. So I haven't even gotten to that, but I can feel that I'm so good at theater. I can walk in the space, and if you ask me to bring out something, I can bring it out so good. That's what I love about theater. What I don't love about theater is what I talked about before, the whole creating for our friends. And I feel like, don't like that.
TV, let's talk about TV.
TV. Oh, Nkosi yami. Mina, when I started acting, I wanted to act on TV, to be honest. And then I thought, like, the theater part of it is just the training, literally. I thought you just train in the theater and then you go and be on TV. God, no. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And I got that, I got too much, so I got so good at being a theater actor that it was so hard to venture into screen. So the only thing that I feel like I don't like about screen is like it's hard to venture into screen. And secondly, just it's hard because of how the industry is. Couch casting, they're like also the industry is like open for Nguni speakers. Hey, when it comes to Sotho and Tswana speakers, we just have a peanut of an industry. Those are the things I don't like, but they don't trigger my spirit. They're just things I don't like. They're not things I hate or don't want in my whole life. They just, because, I always ask myself, when you can hate a thing, you must ask yourself if you can do it better. If you can't do it,
What do you think can be done around that? Do you think we should promote inclusivity, or Lerona, we should as other people or other people of other language create platforms for our people?
I think we should fight for our own people. I
Yeah.
think if you're a Sotho director, Sotho writer, Sotho producer, fight for your own. Because I feel like Nguni people are fighting for their own, and that's why we have. So we can't fight with them and go, open up. No, they are working and they're priding themselves in their culture, in their tradition, in who they are. We also need to come through. That's why I'm like, I am not necessarily a writer or a producer. I could have just went and produced my own Sotho shows and. We need to also push our own culture.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I've seen you on a number of productions, both theater and TV. I've seen you on The Little Prince. I've seen you in Ngalekwendu. I've seen you doing monologues with Oprah James. I've seen you on Isono. I'm going to be name dropping, which was the reason why I wanted to watch Isono. Once I had the Lesego is there, I'm like, I am watching, and you were amazing.
Oh, thank
on The
you.
Queen, you've done a number of productions.
Thank
So just want to
you.
say that we love you.
Oh,
we
you
see
guys.
you.
Oh.
You are amazing.
Yeah.
In as much as you were saying that you want to be a legend, I think you're already there. You don't have to be 50 and you don't have to die yet.
What is this?
You are a legend in the making.
Who
You
paid
are a
him?
legend.
Can somebody tell me who paid Kabelo? Who's Veze? If you paid him.
We love you. So the last question that I'm going to ask you, what are you up to? What are we going to be seeing from Lesego anytime soon? Yeah.
Yo. You are so sweet. I pride myself in being humble and being lifted by God. Only God knows my journey, but for now is that everything is led by God. And for now, in terms of work and a career, things are opening, things are looking up, you know what I mean? I can tell you that I have been to so many auditions in the last 7 years. I can tell you the first thing I ever booked via my agent, and I joined my agent 7 years ago, was Isono. And I booked it via a self-tape. The first ever, after I'd say 7 years of being with my agent and about 9 years of being in the industry, I had booked my first TV role. It's a hard industry. So when you hear people going like they see you, you are legendary, it touches your heart because I'm very resilient, but there are times where it's dark. There are times where you just believe it won't happen. I remember very clearly coming into this year, I was like, whether I book or don't book, I really don't care. Whether I do the work, I'm not expecting it anymore, because expecting is what drives me crazy, what drives me to depression, what drives me to feel like I'm not worthy, because I found myself not acting because remember I told you the hunger when I started was because I wanted to. But throughout the years, I felt like I was doing it to get a yes at an audition, and I never got the yes at the audition. So that was extremely tough because now I was not acting because I was good at it. I was acting because I needed results. So now things are picking up. Your girl is on a Netflix. I can't say a lot about it at the moment as I'm still shooting. But things are looking up. Things are looking up. They're turning for the better. Yeah.
You spoke about your emotional intelligence. You have so much of that. You know, I know you've taught. You're a teacher. And last question. Can we expect a book from you? Is it something that you were thinking about? Maybe in the near future.
You know, ever. But my best friend is an author and a writer and an extremely good one, and I'm waiting all the time for her books. But I've never thought of myself in a writing. I'm always running from
it. Your
it.
best friend?
Huh?
Who are you talking about?
We're talking about Sibongile Fisher. My die-hard, man. Love that girl.
For years.
Forever. We met actually at drama school. We met here at the Market Theatre.
Yeah.
And we have been inseparable ever since. It's a beautiful artistic friendship. More than that even. But yeah, that's me. That's me, guys.
Sekho,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you. A million times, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's wrap
Thank
this
you.
thing up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mokhaitso, Lesego has dropped so many gems. I love her, and I know that you love her. My name is Lungelo Mtambo. We're signing out. This is What's Your Story. Peace. We're done.